Hey folks and files, I'm back with the video, and today we're going to do something a little bit more, something that you guys will be used to. This is going to be a ranking, kind of like the A24 films, but this time it is the Halloween franchise. We're ranking every single one of those movies, all 11 of them. Some that I hate, some that I like more than a lot of other people, some that I don't like that a lot of people like, and some that I think deserve a lot more appreciation. What in the... Why am I wearing this shirt? This doesn't work. I need to... 1 second. Now that's more like it. Let's get to it. Kicking things off, we're going to start ranking these. I'm going to do worst to best. So 11th being bottom of the barrel, this is a disgrace. Number 1 being this is God tier. In 11th place, we all know what's going to be here. Halloween Resurrection. Do I need to explain myself? No? You can move on? Okay, great. 10th place. This is where it's going to get divisive and people will start to hate me. H2O. Let me explain. H2O is a film. If it wasn't a Halloween film, I think it would be a decent slasher. The problem with H2O is you're making it too much like Scream. We've already seen elements like that, and this is coming from a person that hasn't even watched the first Scream all the way through. So if I can see those elements, it removes the originality. And so that's why H2O is in 10th place for me. In 9th place, this isn't too much of an unpopular opinion, but it does have its cult following. Halloween 3 Seasons of the Witch. Again, if it wasn't labeled as a Halloween film and it was just called Seasons of the Witch, and it was just supposed to be some cheesy over-the-top 80s horror film, I'd watch it and think, it was okay, you know, a solid thumbs up, you know, kind of meh. It was a decent time, I wasn't bored. But after watching the predecessors, 1978's original Halloween and 1981 Halloween 2, you go into Halloween 3 expecting to see Michael, and I know people say, move on, he's not in it. You Michael, you know, super fans, or, you know, ruined the originality of the anthology that it was going to become. You can argue that if you're one of those people that love Halloween 3, more power to you. Not insulting the people who do love Halloween 3, I'm just not one of them. Now, 8th place. Boy, oh boy, does this get interesting. Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers. Usually this is lower on people's list. The only reason is because the film's lower than this, I dislike that much more. And Halloween 5, it squanders one of the best plot twists I've ever seen in horror film history to make the key component of that plot twist mute and put in an asylum. And it makes Donald Pleasance's character almost creep factor level. It's just, it's weird. It's weird. It's more weird than Halloween 6. I've said it. It really is. At least Halloween 6 feels a bit over the top, so you can enjoy the craziness of it, right? Halloween 5, it takes itself way too seriously. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy, but Halloween 5 in 8th place. Oh man, I can't believe I'm about to do this. 7th place. Oh, the true OG Halloween fans are going to hate me. Halloween 2, 1981. Yeah, I put it that low. The reason why I put it that low, you gotta think about it. This came after the original. So, the hype train, obviously I wasn't born until 2000, but I can only imagine the hype that went into not only announcing there was going to be a sequel, and then it coming out right, I believe probably right after Friday the 13th, because you can see those elements that the Halloween franchise starts to adapt from Friday the 13th. You can definitely see it, and its violence gets more gratuitous, the kills get more intense and violent and gory, and a bit more creative, kind of like what Friday the 13th did. So you can see that inspiration gets kind of taken and ingested into the Halloween franchise. Even though I think Halloween did it a bit better, but we can talk about that in my unpopular opinions video. So 7th place. My biggest problem with Halloween 2 is it drags. It's a little too long in the first act, if that's really a word for it. Basically, up until Michael gets to the hospital, it's too long of a movie. It's too slow paced. in like 30, 40 minutes, first 30, 40 minutes of the film, Michael makes 1 kill or 2 kills. And you're basing this off of a straight, immediate continuation of right when the first one left off, when he's still walking around the neighborhood. That needs to be rambunctious, crazy, high-octane chaos, right? And he only makes 1 kill, maybe 2 kills in the first 40 minutes. So once Michael gets to the hospital, it all picks up. Now, Michael being in a hospital, going around going, stab, does seem a bit campy. It seems a bit, really, what do you do that? But, hey, they still did it relatively well, and I can't deny the ending of Halloween 2 is very satisfying. So, if the rest of the movie was like the part where Michael gets to the hospital and the rest of the movie, it'd be a lot higher on the list. But it drags too much in the beginning for me, so that's why it's in 7th place. 6th place, we're going to go with Halloween 6. Very fitting. Right there smack in the middle is Halloween 6. I've only seen the theatrical cut, and I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. And the reason why is you can tell it's a bit over the top, you can tell it's a bit rambunctious and crazy, but it feels like that's what they were going for, right? So that's like a plus, right? It's like a positive. It's like, hey, they knew what they were going for, right? And you can kind of argue that. You can kind of argue that that they knew what they were going for. So Halloween 6 is 6th place, right? Also, who doesn't like seeing Paul Rudd in a Halloween movie? I mean, that's a cool thing to see. I know he doesn't like to acknowledge he was in Halloween 6, but I do think that's kind of cool to see. And maybe it's an unpopular opinion. I don't understand why, though, because it looks a lot like the original. The mask in Halloween 6 is actually one of my favorite masks in this series. So that's why I'm talking about the mask design, that is one of my favorites of the entire series. So that's why Halloween 6 ranks above a good chunk of these films. It does have its problems. I'm not the biggest fan of the Cult of Thorn storyline there. I feel like if they really wanted to go for it, they should have made it less of a focal point and also stretched it out. It's a bit weird, but I could go into that in a different one, but it wasn't my forte, let's just say that. 5th place, now begins the unpopular opinions, because you're realizing he's put both Rob Zombie remakes in his top half. Let me explain. 5th place, we're going to go with not the original, but the first remake from Rob Zombie, 2007 Halloween. I like this movie a lot more than a lot of people. I don't love it, but I like it a lot more than a lot of other people do. And the reason why is I can see the vision, I can see the uniqueness and the crafting of what Rob Zombie was going for. He was wanting to dehumanize Michael, and some people are like, well, I don't want that. I want the mystery. I don't want to know why he does what he does. That adds to fear, right? Why not make it disturbing? Why not make it eerie? Because you know why he does that, and that explains it. So if it explains it, it puts it in a societal commentary of sorts where you could picture things like this happening, and you could see someone doing this, as opposed to just someone who's so sadistic just for no reason snaps. I find it more realistic for them to go down the path Michael went down, or a path like it, not 100% like Rob crafted, but in the style of bullying, abuse, family home, crappy family life, abuse at home, ignored, all of that combining and them snapping. So I liked that style. I also liked that you focused more on young Michael. Young Michael made a lot of kills in the Rob remake, and it felt more disturbing and eerie and off-putting that you were seeing a child do that as opposed to a grown man. So Rob did a good job with that. And his very intense violence and very intense killing scenes definitely amplified the violence, and really made some of the most intense scenes in any of the Halloween films. And you can say that in Halloween 2 as well. Which leads me into the 4th place, is Halloween 2. And you notice, holy shit, this dude just put Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 in front of his 1. And yes, I did. Let me explain. No, I do not appreciate, and I'm not a fan of the White Horse gimmick. Remove that, and really, I think a lot of people would prefer this one. And the reason why is because you focus on Laurie in the aftermath. If you think about how Rob crafted his first remake, the 2007 one, how intense, how gratuitous the violence was, and the intensity of the killings, and the disturbing quality and factor that his Michael had, as opposed to all the prior versions and iterations of the character, you would think someone would be that far broken into PTSD. I'm referring to the director's cut because I've heard that the theatrical cut of Halloween 2, Laurie Strode is not nearly as broken, which I'll have to check out that cut because that one sounds pretty interesting as well. I've only seen the unrated director's cut of his Halloween 2, and I like the PTSD quality to Laurie Strode. It adds a sense of realism, because if you went through everything Laurie went through in Halloween 1, in his Halloween 1, you couldn't tell me you'd be fine within a week. I'm just telling you right now. You'll be broken for years and years. So, and that's what he did. He showed that. So, kudos to him, at least in my book. But I'm wearing a 3 from Hell shirt, so I'm slightly biased, but not intensively, because this isn't my favorite Rob Zombie movie, but I do think 3 from Hell's a decent movie, but we can get onto that later. I like to ramble. Third place. This one will make up for it a bit, because this one's gained a bit of a cult following recently. Halloween 4. I think if Halloween 4 had a better mask and was slightly more up-tempo and slightly more fast-paced, doesn't need to be too much more fast-paced, but slightly more fast-paced, have a better mask, have the mask quality of 1 or 2 or even 6, Halloween 4 could have become and may become my favorite Halloween film. So if someone can find a way to edit the Halloween 4 quality mask out, put a Halloween 6 mask in, or Halloween 1 or 2, and make it a bit more up-tempo in its pacing, you're gonna make me a very happy dude. And it wasn't just the end plot twist that did it for me. It was, I liked seeing Michael back again. It was a nice return to form. And Loomis felt like Loomis, which he didn't feel like in 6. He felt a bit off. He felt just a bit, too far gone, if that's even a word. Maybe mentally, I don't know. He felt a bit out there in Halloween 6. In Halloween 5, he felt a bit like a creep. Whereas in Halloween 4, he felt just right in that 4 through 6 portion of the story. So, they got him right. Danielle Harris. She did a good job not only as a lineage carrying on from Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode, also had that great plot twist. And Danielle Harris was, I can't remember what her exact age was, but she did a phenomenal job. She was a kid. And in 5, granted, they made some shitty direction decisions and writing decisions, but she portrayed them relatively well in 5, so no hate on her part. But in Halloween 4, she did an amazing job in Halloween 4. So Halloween 4 is just one of those that I want to own the next month or two. And whenever I get that thing on Blu-ray, I'm going to be watching it religiously because I like it a lot. It is the best ignored sequel. And what I mean by ignored sequel is once the 2018 one came out, it disregarded every sequel. The only films that are canon now is the 2018 one and the 78 original. So, you now know my top 2. And in second place, the 2018 Halloween. I love this. I absolutely loved it. I wish I saw it in the theater. I really, really do. I really wish I saw it in the theater. It was so amazing. And when I went to go pick this up at Target, because I loved the movie so much, I watched it on HBO about a year and a half ago. And I loved it so much, but I finally went to go buy it at a Target about, before what's going on in the world now happened. And this was around Halloween time. So I was going to buy the 2018 Halloween and pay $15. I was like, that's affordable. I look over to my left, and here is a shelf of nothing but classic horror films, modern horror films. I go over in there, and guess what? It doesn't just have the 2018 one. It has the 1978 original, and it is a, what was it? Was it a 25 or 35th anniversary? It may have even been 35th anniversary of the original and the 2018 combined in a Target exclusive version for the same price as the 2018 one. So I went, hell yeah, to get the original classic and 2018, which I love both of those. Hey, the bathroom sequence in 2018's Halloween, that And the mask, the 2018 mask is my favorite mask in the entire series. Think about it, the blacked out eyes, the scratches, the aging of the mask. It's not pulling off like Rob's Halloween 2 mask, which was another weakness of his Halloween 2. It looked aged without having to crack and peel. The blacked out eyes, it makes your skin crawl seeing that 2018 mask. It really sends shivers down your spine. And of course, how can you go wrong? Number one, of course, the original classic, 1978 John Carpenter's Halloween. Not just an amazing Halloween film, not just the best of the franchise, one of the truly greatest horror films of all time. And it's one of my favorites, definitely my favorite slasher film ever made. And it set the precedent for all these. It set the precedent for Friday the 13th to try to meet, Nightmare on Elm Street, Chucky. That of those three franchises I just listed after Halloween, Chucky's the one I like the most because it just felt a bit more horror comedy and just kind of went for it at times. Again, we can get into that in a video of like my horror opinions or unpopular opinions and stuff like that. But that's my ranking. I ranked all 11 Halloween films. Feel free to if you want, and if you've seen all 11 or you've only seen 2 or 3, if you want to rank them, feel free to rank them down in the comments below. Click that subscribe button, join the community where we talk about films, we'll rank films, review films. I'm also an aspiring filmmaker. I'll put my own updates about my own projects and ways you can support those. Join the community, much appreciated. See you guys in the next one.